The Great Space Bazaar was alive with noise. Aliens from many worlds shouted and bargained loudly. Strange machines buzzed, and bright lights shone everywhere. In the middle of all this chaos was a large stage. On it stood a young human boy. His name was Jace. Jace looked around with fear. His clothes were torn, and his face was dirty. He was sold as a slave. Many eyes watched him, but no one wanted to pay much for him. To them, he was just a weak, small human. "Who will start the bidding for this one?" The auctioneer shouted. His voice was loud and cold. "He is young and strong enough to work. But be warned, he is a human, and humans are known to be fragile." Jace's heart beat fast. He wished he could disappear, but he could not move. He had no choice but to wait and hope someone would buy him. Suddenly, a new voice came from the crowd. It was deep and clear. "I will buy the human," said a woman. All eyes turned to see who spoke. She was tall and proud. Her skin was a shining blue color, and her eyes glowed like stars. She wore a crown made of shining metal. Everyone knew her. She was Queen Tyra, ruler of the distant planet Zarnan. The crowd was shocked. Why would a queen buy a lowly human slave? The auctioneer looked confused but quickly smiled. "Very well, Your Majesty. The human is yours." Jace could not believe his ears. The queen had bought him. Fear mixed with hope inside him. What would happen now? Queen Tyra walked up to the stage. Her eyes studied Jace carefully, not with anger or hate, but with interest. "You will come with me," she said softly. "There is a place for you in my palace." Jace nodded slowly. He was still scared but curious. Why did the queen want him? What did she see in a simple human like him? As they left the stage, many people whispered among themselves, "She must want him for a special reason. Maybe humans are better than we thought. Or maybe the queen has a plan we don't understand." Jace was taken to a great ship. It was large and beautiful, with windows that showed stars and worlds far away. Inside, the ship was quiet and clean, very different from the noisy bazaar. Queen Tyra sat beside him. "You may be small, human, but you have a strong spirit," she said. "I see something in you that others miss. You will have a chance to prove yourself." Jace looked at her. For the first time in a long time, he felt a little hope. Maybe his life was about to change. The ship moved away from the busy market and into the dark space. Ahead was a new world, a new life, but also many dangers. Jace did not know what waited for him on planet Zarnan, but one thing was clear. His journey had just begun. The ship flew through space, carrying Jace and Queen Tyra to her home planet, Zarnan. Jace looked out the window. He saw stars and planets far away. His heart was full of questions. What kind of place was Zarnan? What would happen to him there? After many hours, the ship landed on a huge platform. The palace was in front of him. It was bigger than any building Jace had ever seen. The walls shone like glass and metal. Tall towers reached up to the sky. Strange plants with bright colors grew around the palace. Queen Tyra led Jace inside. The palace was quiet and cool. The floor was smooth and shiny. Soft lights glowed from the walls. Jace felt small and nervous. Everything was strange, but also beautiful. "Welcome to my home," Tyra said with a gentle smile. "Here, you will learn many things. You will not be a slave anymore." Jace looked at her, surprised. Could this be true? Was he really free? A group of alien servants came to meet them. They had many arms and bright eyes. They bowed deeply to the queen, then to Jace. One of them gave Jace a clean robe to wear. It was soft and light. Jace changed his clothes and looked in a shiny mirror. He barely recognized himself. He looked cleaner, stronger, and a little more hopeful. Tyra took him to a large room filled with books, maps, and strange devices. "This is the place where I learn and make decisions," she said. "I am the queen, but I do not know everything. I need help." Jace was surprised again. The queen needed help. He had always thought queens were powerful and perfect. "You will stay here and learn," Tyra said. "You will learn about my people, about space, and about yourself. I want to see what you can do." Jace nodded slowly. He felt the weight of her words. This was not just a gift, it was a challenge. Days passed. Jace studied hard. The servants taught him new languages and customs. He learned about strange planets and powerful machines. Sometimes the lessons were hard, but Jace did not give up. He also learned about the problems in the Queen's kingdom. There were enemies who wanted to take power from Xyra. There were poor people who suffered under harsh rules. The Queen's world was not perfect. One night, Jace walked alone on a balcony. The stars above were bright and cold. He thought about his old life, the dark places, the fear, the slavery. Now he was free, but the future was unknown. Suddenly, Xyra appeared beside him. "You are brave to come here," she said softly. "Many would be afraid." Jace looked at her. "Why did you choose me? Why did you buy me at the auction?" Xyra smiled, but her eyes were serious. "Because I see strength in you, strength that others do not see. You are different, human. You have a spirit that can change the world." Jace felt something new inside him, pride and hope. The palace was a new home. The queen was no longer just a stranger. She was a guide, a leader, and maybe a friend. But deep inside, Jace knew his journey was only beginning. The days at the palace grew busy for Jace. Queen Xyra watched him closely. She did not want to keep him as a slave or a pet. She wanted to see if he could be more, if he could be useful in a world much bigger than the one he knew. One morning, Xyra called Jace to her throne room. The room was huge, with high ceilings and glowing walls. The queen sat on a tall chair made of shining metal and crystals. Her blue skin seemed to glow in the light. "Today, you will take a test," Xyra said. Her voice was calm but strong. "This test is not just about strength. It is about your mind and your spirit. Are you ready?" Jace nodded, his heart pounding. He wanted to prove himself, but he was afraid. What kind of test would it be? The queen waved her hand. A large door opened, revealing a strange room filled with puzzles and machines. "This is the trial chamber. You must complete 3 challenges. The first will test your mind, the second your courage, and the third your heart." Jace stepped inside. The door closed behind him with a soft hiss. He was alone. The first challenge was a puzzle made of glowing shapes that floated in the air. Jace had to move and fit the shapes together to form a pattern. He remembered how, as a child, he liked to play with blocks. Slowly he worked, trying different ways. After a long moment, the shapes clicked into place, and the puzzle lit up bright. A voice spoke from the walls. "Well done, human. Your mind is sharp." Jace smiled. He felt a small victory. Next came the second challenge. The door opened to a dark room filled with strange noises. Shadows moved on the walls. Jace could feel his heart beat faster. Suddenly, a large creature appeared. It was tall with many legs and glowing eyes. Jace was frozen with fear. But then he remembered Queen Xyra's words about courage. He took a deep breath and stood tall. He did not run. Slowly, he moved forward. The creature watched him closely, but did not attack. Jace reached out and touched its glowing skin. The creature blinked and stepped back, letting him pass. The door opened again, and Jace entered the third challenge. This time, he saw a small child crying in pain. The child was not human, but Jace did not care. He knelt down and tried to comfort the child. He found water and gave it to the child. He stayed until the child stopped crying. The room brightened, and the door opened one last time. Jace walked out, feeling tired but proud. Queen Xyra waited for him. She looked at him with new respect. "You have passed the test. Your mind is sharp, your courage is strong, and your heart is kind. You are not just a slave. You are something more. Jace looked at her. For the first time, he felt hope that he might have a place here. He was still scared of the future, but now he believed he could face it. Zyra smiled. Come, there is more to learn. After the test, Jace felt different. He was tired, but something inside him had changed. Queen Zyra no longer looked at him like a slave. She saw him as a person, someone with a future. Days passed, and Jace spent more time with the queen. They talked about many things. Zyra told stories about her planet Sarnan, about its people, its history, and the challenges they faced. She explained how being a queen was not easy. She had to make hard choices every day to keep her people safe. Jace listened carefully. He realized that Zyra was not just powerful. She was also wise and kind. She cared deeply for her people, even if she had to be strict sometimes. One evening, they walked together in the palace gardens. Strange flowers with glowing petals lit the night. The air smelled sweet and fresh. Jace, Zyra said softly, you have a strong spirit. You have survived much, but there is still more to learn. I want you to understand my world, not just as a guest, but as someone who belongs here. Jace looked at her. He wanted to believe her. The palace no longer felt cold or strange. It was becoming home. Over time, a bond grew between them. Zyra shared her fears, enemies inside her court who wanted to take her throne, people who did not trust a human in her palace. Jace shared his own fears of never being free, of never finding a place where he truly belonged. They learned from each other. Jace taught Zyra about Earth, about human hope and resilience. Zyra taught Jace about honor, duty, and strength. One day, Jace saw something he never expected. Zyra smiled and laughed like a young woman, not a queen. It was a moment of light in a heavy world. But not everyone in the palace was happy. Some servants whispered behind Jace's back. Why does the queen care for a human slave? They asked. He is not like us. Jace heard these words and felt pain, but he did not give up. Zyra had shown him respect and kindness. That was enough. One night, there was an emergency. A loud alarm rang through the palace. The queen's guards rushed in. There is a threat inside the palace, one guard said. Zyra stood tall. We must protect everyone, she said firmly. Jace did not wait. He ran to help. He guided servants to safety and helped the guards block the palace doors. He acted quickly and bravely. After the danger passed, Zyra looked at Jace with pride. You are more than I imagined. You have the heart of a true leader. Jace smiled. For the first time, he felt he had a place, not just in the palace, but in the galaxy. Their bond was growing stronger. Together, they would face whatever came next. Life at the palace seemed calm after the attack, but Jace knew something was wrong. He could feel it in the air, whispers and secret looks from the people around him. Some servants avoided him. Others spoke quietly in corners. Jace was no longer just a guest. He was part of the palace's hidden tensions. One day, while walking in a quiet hallway, Jace overheard two guards talking. Their voices were low but urgent. The queen is weak, one said. She trusts the human too much. The council will act soon. Jace's heart beat fast. What council? What were they planning? He followed the guards from a distance. They met with other palace members in a hidden room. Jace listened carefully. The group was full of powerful people who wanted to take the queen's throne. They believed a human like Jace had no right to be near the queen. They planned to remove Zyra and take control. Jace knew he had to warn the queen, but how? If the conspirators found out he was listening, he would be in danger. That night, Jace waited until the palace was quiet. He found Zyra in her private chamber, studying maps of her kingdom. Your Majesty, he said softly, there is a plot against you. Some people want to take your throne. They do not trust me, and they want to remove you. Zyra looked up, her eyes serious. I have felt their eyes on me, she said, but I needed proof. Thank you, Jace. You have done well. They began to plan. Zyra could not fight the conspirators alone. She needed allies. She trusted Jace to help her find them. For days, they met with loyal friends in secret. Zyra shared her fears and hopes. Jace listened and gave his ideas. He spoke of courage and trust. Slowly, they built a plan to protect the queen and stop the rebellion. Jace surprised Zyra with his calm and clever mind. He thought like a strategist, seeing the moves of their enemies before they made them. One afternoon, while walking in the palace garden, Zyra asked, "Why do you help me, Jace? You could run away, be free." Jace looked at her. "Because you gave me a chance," he said. "You saw me as more than a slave. I want to help you protect what you care about." Zyra smiled. "You have grown strong, stronger than many humans I have met." But the danger was still close. The conspirators moved faster than they expected. One night, Jace heard voices near his door. He hid quickly as two men spoke. "The queen will fall soon," one said. "The human will be useless." Jace's hands clenched into fists. He knew the fight was coming soon. The palace was no longer just a home. It was a battlefield. Jace and Zyra would have to be clever and brave to survive. As the stars shone outside, Jace made a silent promise. He would stand with the queen. No matter what happened, he would protect her and their new world. The palace was tense. Jace and Queen Zyra knew the conspirators were planning something soon. They could feel the threat like a dark cloud over Zarnan's shining towers. But Jace had an idea. If the queen's enemies wanted to take power, maybe it was time to unite the people who felt forgotten. The workers, the servants, and even some soldiers who did not agree with the council. He spoke to Zyra. "We need to bring the people together," he said. "If they see that you care and that we can work as one, the rebels will lose their power." Zyra nodded slowly. "It is risky, but it might be our only choice." Together, they began to plan a quiet rebellion of their own, not to take power by force, but to bring hope to those who had none. Jace went out into the city in secret. He walked through busy markets and crowded streets. He spoke to workers and families. He told them about Zyra's plans for a better future, one where everyone was treated fairly. At first, many were skeptical. They had seen rulers come and go. But Jace's words were honest, and his spirit was strong. Slowly, people began to listen. Back in the palace, Zyra met with her loyal guards. She gave them new orders. Protect the people, protect the city, and stand ready for any attack. Her voice was calm but firm. She trusted Jace's plan, even if it meant facing dangers. One night, during a secret meeting with the city leaders, Jace heard a shout. Suddenly, soldiers loyal to the conspirators stormed the room. The leaders were taken captive. The rebellion had begun. Jace and Zyra acted fast. The queen sent guards to rescue the leaders. Jace rallied the people in the city. They stood together, not as slaves or rulers, but as one people fighting for their future. Fires burned in the streets, and the sound of battle echoed through the city. But Jace did not lose hope. He remembered his test in the palace, the courage and heart he showed. Now, he needed those more than ever. In the middle of the chaos, Jace found a young girl trapped under debris. Without thinking, he lifted the heavy stones and helped her to safety. The girl looked at him with tears. "Thank you," she whispered. That moment gave Jace strength. He was fighting not just for the queen or the palace, but for all the people who dreamed of freedom. After hours of struggle, the queen's loyal forces won the battle. The conspirators were captured or fooled into the shadows. The city was safe, for now. Zyra and Jace stood together on the palace balcony, looking out at the city. The fires were dying, and the stars shone bright. "You did well, Jace," Zyra said quietly. "You gave the people hope." Jace smiled, tired but proud. "We did it together." but both knew the fight was far from over. The galaxy was full of dangers, and new enemies would come. Still, for the first time, they believed in a better future, a future where humans and aliens could stand side by side. After the rebellion, the palace was quieter but filled with tension. Many in the court still did not trust Jace or the Queen's new ideas. The conspirators who escaped were waiting for another chance to strike. One day, a challenger appeared. It was Lord Varric, a powerful noble who believed he should be queen instead of Tyra. He was tall and strong, with sharp eyes and a cold smile. "You have weakened the throne by trusting a human," Varric said loudly in the Great Hall. "If you will not step down, then we must settle this. A duel for the fate of the kingdom." Zyra stood tall and calm. "I will face you," she said, "for my people and for peace." The duel was to be held in the palace arena the next day. Many came to watch, including nobles, soldiers, and servants. The air was thick with tension. Jace watched from the side, feeling nervous. He wanted to help the queen, but he knew this was her fight. Zyra was not just a ruler, she was a warrior. The arena was large and round with tall walls. The sun shone brightly overhead. Zyra and Varric entered from opposite sides, armed with energy swords that glowed with power. The fight began. Varric attacked first, strong and fast. Zyra blocked and moved quickly. Their swords clashed with sparks flying. The crowd gasped and cheered. Jace held his breath. He saw Zyra's skill, but also the danger she faced. Varric was strong, but Zyra was smart and calm. They fought for minutes, neither giving up. Then, Varric tried a heavy strike, aiming to end the duel quickly. Zyra dodged and used his momentum to throw him to the ground. Varric stood again, angry. He charged with a fierce yell, but Zyra was ready. With a swift move, she disarmed him and pressed her sword to his chest. The crowd was silent. Zyra looked into Varric's eyes. "Yield," she said firmly. Varric lowered his head. "I yield," he said quietly. Zyra stepped back and turned to the crowd. "This duel is over," she said. "Let this be a new beginning for our kingdom, one of unity and strength." The nobles looked at each other, some surprised, others thoughtful. Jace smiled with relief. Later, Zyra came to Jace. "Thank you for your support," she said. "You have shown great courage, even if you did not fight." Jace shook his head. "You fought for all of us. I will always stand by you." Zyra smiled warmly. "Together, we are stronger." The duel was not just a fight, it was a message. The kingdom would change, and Jace was part of that change. As the sun set, the palace felt alive with hope and new possibilities. After the duel, the palace slowly changed. Some nobles accepted Queen Zyra's rule, but others still watched Jace with suspicion. Yet the queen's trust in Jace never wavered. One quiet evening, Zyra asked Jace to meet her in the throne room. The room was calm, lit by soft blue lights that made the queen's skin glow. "Jace," she began, "there is something I must tell you, something I have not said before." Jace looked at her, curious and a little nervous. Zyra took a deep breath. "I bought you at the auction, not just because I saw strength, but because I believe humans have something special, something our galaxy needs." Jace frowned. "What do you mean?" Zyra stood and walked slowly around the room. "Humans, like you, have a spirit that is different. You have hope, courage, and the ability to change even when things seem impossible." She stopped and looked directly at Jace. "I believe humans can bring balance to the galaxy. Many worlds are torn by war and fear, but humans, you have survived great hardships and still dream of a better future." Jace felt a warmth in his chest. No one had ever spoken about humans like that. Zyra continued, "I need you not just as a friend or advisor, but as a symbol of hope. Together, we can build a new future, one where all species, human and alien, live in peace." Jace nodded slowly. The weight of her words was heavy but powerful. "Will you help me?" Kyra asked. Jace met her eyes. "Yes, I want to help." From that moment, their partnership grew stronger. Jace was no longer just a human bought at an auction. He was a leader, a bridge between worlds. He spent his days learning more about Zarnan and its people. He met with leaders from other planets, speaking of unity and hope. Sometimes it was hard. Some did not trust him or the Queen. But Jace remembered what Cyrus said about hope. He kept trying. One day, in the palace garden, Tyra and Jace watched the twin suns set. The sky was full of colors, red, orange, and purple. "This is just the beginning," Cyrus said softly. "The galaxy is large and full of challenges, but with you by my side, I believe we can face anything." Jace smiled. For the first time, he truly believed in a future where he belonged, not as a slave, but as a hero. After the revelation, Queen Tyra and Jace worked harder than ever. They knew that their kingdom was just one part of a bigger galaxy filled with many different worlds. If they wanted peace and strength, they needed allies. Jace traveled with the Queen to meet leaders from nearby planets. Some welcomed them warmly, curious about the new ideas of unity and hope. Others were cold and suspicious. Many had their own fears and old grudges. At one meeting on the planet Therix, Jace spoke before a crowd of leaders. "We must work together," he said. "Not as enemies, but as friends. Our strength is in unity." Some leaders nodded, but others shook their heads. They did not believe a human and an alien queen could bring change. Zyra stood beside Jace. "Our galaxy faces many dangers. If we do not stand together, we will all fall." Slowly, their message spread. Small groups of planets agreed to form an alliance. They promised to share knowledge, protect each other, and work for peace. But not everyone liked this. Some powerful worlds saw the alliance as a threat. Secretly, they planned to stop it. Back on Zarnan, Cyra and Jace prepared for the future. They trained soldiers, improved the city's defenses, and helped their people understand the new way of thinking. Jace found a new role as an advisor to the Queen. He used his knowledge of humans and aliens to solve problems and bring ideas that helped everyone. One evening, while walking in the palace gardens, Jace and Cyra spoke about the future. "We have come far," Cyra said, "but this is only the start. The galaxy is changing." Jace smiled. "I never thought I would be here, beside a queen, helping to change the galaxy." Zyra looked at him with respect. "You are more than I hoped for, Jace. Together, we will build a new world." Suddenly, a messenger arrived with urgent news. "Your Majesty, there is trouble on the border. A fleet of ships from a hostile world is moving toward Zarnan." Zyra's face grew serious. "Prepare the defenses. We will show them that we are not weak." Jace felt a rush of fear and excitement. The alliance would be tested soon, but he was ready to fight for the future he believed in. The stars outside the palace shone bright, as if watching the beginning of a new chapter. The fleet of ships grew closer to Zarnan. The sky above the planet darkened with their shadows. Queen Cyra stood on the palace balcony, watching the stars turn into glowing war machines. Beside her, Jace felt the weight of the moment. This was the test of everything they had worked for. Their alliance, their hope, their future. The Queen spoke calmly. "This is more than a battle for land. It is a battle for our right to choose peace." Jace nodded. "And we will stand together. Humans and aliens, stronger as one." The city prepared for war. Soldiers took their places, ships moved into position, and the people watched with hope and fear. When the enemy fleet attacked, the sky lit up with fire and energy. Battleships clashed, lasers crossed the dark space, and explosions shook the planet's atmosphere. Jace helped lead the defense. He guided the soldiers and pilots, using his quick thinking and courage. Many times, his decisions saved lives. Queen Syra fought alongside her people, strong and fearless. She inspired everyone to stand firm. The battle lasted many hours. At times, it seemed the enemy would win, but the alliance held strong. Finally, the enemy fleet retreated. Their ships disappeared into the stars, beaten but not broken. The people cheered. The city was safe for now. After the battle, Syra turned to Jace. "You have been more than a friend, more than an advisor. You are my partner." Jace smiled, feeling proud and honored. "Together, we will build a future where no one is a slave, where all are free." The queen nodded. A future where humans and aliens walk side by side. Years passed. Under their leadership, Zarnan and its allies grew stronger. They built schools, hospitals, and places where all beings could learn and live in peace. Jace often thought about the auction where his life had changed forever. From a scared slave, he had become a leader, a symbol of hope. One day, standing beside Syra on the palace balcony, he looked at the stars. "The galaxy is wide," he said, "but maybe one day all its worlds will be united." Syra smiled. "With you, I believe anything is possible." Together, they faced the future, a future full of promise, freedom, and unity.